What an absolutely incredible weekend in the NFL. There was chaos. There were all-time comebacks. We had the Bills Mafia firing off snowballs at the Dolphins. We had enormous divisional matchups. We had a ton of overtime. Seriously, one of the best two-day stretches of pro football that I could ever remember. But I cannot stop thinking about, nor watching and rewatching and laughing my ass off at one single play. And I think you know the play I'm talking about. Hoodman definitely knows the play that I'm talking about. It's the play that he will be seeing in his nightmares for the rest of his entire life. It is the only play I want to think about for the rest of my entire life. I mean, holy crap, Hoodman. How could this happen on your watch, GOAT? I would call that ending a disaster, but that feels like a swipe at disasters. Disaster is nowhere near the right word for that meltdown. But then again, and I am a wordsmith, but there are no words that can properly describe that meltdown. I'm not even sure if it was more hilarious or pathetic. As always, the answer is yes. What I do know is this, though. What I do know is for sure I have never seen an ending like that in my life. The greatest coach of all time just turned a halfback draw to kill the last 3 seconds of regulation into the single worst play in the history of the NFL. I mean, think about it. There have been some bad plays, some bad moments. The butt fumble, the Orlovsky play, the miracle at the Meadowlands, Romo's drop PAT. But none of that comes anywhere remotely near to what the hell happened in Vegas yesterday. This is not just the worst play ever. It is the worst play ever by a mile. It is the worst play ever, and there's not even a second worst play. It was also somehow both the worst play in NFL history and the greatest play in NFL history because it is the funniest play in NFL history. Because again, there is nothing, and I mean nothing, better than this. That will never stop being hilarious. Every single thing about that play is perfect. First, Ramondre Stevenson deciding to pitch the ball for no reason. That was the first, That was the first, what are we doing here? The hell was he thinking trying to keep that play alive? My guy, there is situational awareness, and then there's knowing what the bleeping score is or not. I mean, you did know the score was tied, right? Because the only reason to start yakety-saxing is when it's the last play of the game and you're trailing. There is situational awareness, and then there's making one of the dumbest decisions ever, which is what that was. Notice I said one of the dumbest decisions ever, because the single dumbest decision ever goes to receiver turned wannabe QB1, Jakoby Myers, because my man single-handedly ended the last GOAT conversation that we're ever going to have. The last GOAT conversation there has ever been or will ever be with one single catastrophic decision. Jakoby Myers is your GOAT. Never mind putting him into the Hall of Fame for that. They should. But they should create his own Hall of Fame. The Jakoby Myers Hall of Fame. It has only one inductee, and every single year they keep re-inducting him into his own Hall of Fame. And every single year he can get up there and give his own acceptance speech. Again, I'm not talking about creating his own wing. I'm talking about giving this guy his own Hall of Fame. Hell, if you want to drop a bomb on the actual Hall of Fame in Canton, and then create the Jakoby Myers Hall of Fame as the only Hall of Fame recognized by the NFL, I'm fine with that. In fact, that best happened. That's a great idea. How awesome is that idea? Because how awesome was that play? That's how hilarious that play was. This freaking dude, Jakoby, my man, I hate to pile on. No, I don't. My man, you are my favorite human being ever. Instead of him thinking, hey, Ramondre, the hell are you doing flipping the ball to me and just going down and getting ready for OT after that lateral? Jakoby the GOAT thinks, man, I can really spin it, yo. And now the world is going to see it. Now the world's going to find out. Bleep OT. We can win it right here. If anyone knows anything about me, they know I'm a legend when it comes to extending plays. And then dude promptly splits Chandler Jones's numbers. I'm not even lying. I watched that play 100 times last night, and I could not stop laughing. And every single time I watched it, it was funnier than the last time. I'll tell you something else. True story. First thing I did this morning when my alarm went off was reach for the phone, turn off the alarm, and call up that play again. In the darkness of the morning in bed, and I watched it before I got up. And I laughed out loud all over again. Dodger Jan was like, oh, what's going on? What's so funny? I'm like, nothing, sweetheart. Go back to bed. 4:30 in the morning.
Laugh out loud.
But almost as funny as Jakoby thinking that he could be a hero and fire a dot to Mac Jones. And by the way, was Mac Jones thinking that he was going to save the day by making a game-saving and career-saving tackle for Jakoby Myers on Chandler Jones, only to have Jones stiff-arm him right into the center of the earth? Let's not sleep on that. That is an amazing moment in that play. I appreciate Mac owning it. I appreciate Mac saying that it's on him for not making that tackle, but there was no way in hell he was going to knock Chandler Jones to the ground. And the fact that Jones caught him with that stiff arm like he was me or something makes it even more hilarious. Has there ever been a more demeaning, disrespectful, get the hell off me moment than that? The game and probably their playoff berth were hanging in the balance, and Chandler Jones just put Mac into the ground, abusing him in a manner worse than anything his cheating brother ever did in the octagon. Like, I don't think I will ever be able to stop watching this play. I'm having a hard time sitting here and doing this show. Like, I just want to go back in my office and watch that play on a loop for 3 more hours. I'm not sure the NFL can ever get any better than this. You got to keep it real. The multiple oh my gods. This is the dumbest team I've ever seen, and heads will roll. Yes, yes, and yes. It was that dumb and that awesome and that hilarious. Hey, listen, Patriot fan, don't be looking to come at me. I'm not the problem here. I know you want to fight me over it, but I'm not the problem. In fact, I am you, Patriot fan. Remember? Well, I'm half you. I'm half Chowd. Sometimes you have to crack your own or half your own. Man, see, this is what happens when you let Matt the pencil Patricia run your offense and Joe, the leader of men, judge, coach your QBs. You wind up looking like the dumbest team ever. Except this is the one thing that I can't blame on Matty the Ticonderoga. I mean, it would be such a Matt the pencil thing to draw up a lateral play in a tie game with 3 seconds left. Like, I so badly wanted that to be a called play. I mean, I knew it wasn't. But the only thing that would make it better is if they actually called that lateral. How awesome would that be? But that's not what happened. You have to admit, not that they had any choice, but everybody involved did a pretty good job of owning what happened. Listen to Ramondre Stevenson, and again, I have no idea what the hell he was thinking by starting this whole thing off by lateraling it. You know, this whole thing, like, I want to be honest about one more thing. Prior to seeing this, the phrase that I was starting to hate more than any other phrase in the NFL, especially as somebody who's a gambler, somebody who likes to get down sometimes, this notion of situational awareness. Have you noticed, fellow gamblers, how much money situational awareness is costing us? Situational awareness. You know, when players like slide before the goal line or go out of bounds before putting points on the board that we need to win our bets because of, quote, situational awareness. I'm starting to hate that phrase until this game. And now I love it again because they had none. My man. And I like Ramondre. And that was a nice run. But, dude, how do you not just stay down? There are 3 seconds left. You're getting to overtime. The hell were you thinking? But credit to him for saying, hey, don't put it on Jakoby. Jakoby wouldn't have been in position to make the stupidest play ever had I not lateraled it to him in the first place. Well, yes and no, my man. Because even though Jakoby ended up with that ball, it didn't mean he needed to spin it back to the quarterback, who was, by the way, nowhere near the unintended receiver. So the same goes for him. These two combined for the dumbest, most humiliating sequence that we have ever seen on a football field. But again, at least they stood in front of reporters and they handled it like pros. Not that he had any choice but respect. He's like, no, that was not a called play. I was just trying to be a hero. Oh, dude, you are a hero. My man, you're my hero. If you were trying to be a hero, you succeeded. You are my hero. I didn't see the man. What, did they disguise their coverage? Did you not see Chandler Jones back there? So no, as much as I wanted that to be a play call so badly, of course that was not a play call. But you know what? Even though that was not a call by the staff, that's still on the coaching staff. I mean, how is it that a team coached by the alleged greatest coach ever has the worst situational awareness ever? Tell me how that works. Tell me how that works, and then tell Josh McDaniels how his ass tastes.
Tell me how my ass tastes.
But of course, no better explanation was going to come from anybody other than the Hood himself. And man, I love that it was Josh McDaniels who got over like that. Even though the Raiders did their best to choke away a 5th double-digit lead. A record. My guy Josh gets over. But, we needed to go to the ultimate source and authority, the Hood, to find out exactly what the hell happened. How could that happen under his watch? We're lucky this dude even opened up his mouth wide enough to even make a single sound at the podium. If you thought maybe an all-time mumble was coming from the mumbler after that one, then you thought right. You nailed it. Playing it like a mistake. Your way to own it, Hood. Thanks for clearing that up, Hood. Add that to your Hall of Fame plaque, Hood. Dumbest play in league history occurred on my watch by my team. Not only cost us a game, but maybe a trip to the postseason. And it was against my longtime assistant that helped me win all those rings in the first place. Hood. Everything about that play is amazing, which is why it's both the best and worst play ever, and why I can't stop thinking about it, why I can't stop talking about it, why I can't stop laughing at it. It's why after an amazing weekend of pro football, I just spent an entire opening segment on one single play. Because it's one play that we'll all be talking about and laughing our asses off at for the rest of our lives. Think about that weekend. Think about that weekend. I isolated one single play on a weekend, on a Monday, in a show opened when the weekend included the likes of Matt Ryan, Jeff Saturday, and the Colts choking away a 30-point lead. 33, actually, right? The Cowboys blew a game on a Jags pick 6. The Chiefs nearly lost to the Texans. We had an incredible snow game in Buffalo. Washington screwed by the refs. Jared Goff clutching up against the Jets. Joe Burrow beating Brady 45. And Argentina beats France in an unbelievable World Cup match. All those things went down. And yet one play carries a 20-minute open. Can you imagine that?